Public sector employees doing road and drainage maintenance find themselves in the work zone on the roadways, as you see here. Working out in traffic is one of the most hazardous forms of construction activity. It's one of the fastest rising causes of death for public sector employees, but it can be managed and it can be handled. The experts in work zone safety tell us that the two significant criteria are visibility, use of vests like these, and separation. Now, separation and communication is established by the use of work zone traffic safety devices, as you'll see in the video. There are specific rules and requirements set out by the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, and contractors who work in the roadway, as well as public sector employees, are best served and safest when they abide by these requirements. In this video, you're going to see a work zone setup that was done properly. There are different stages of the work zone. There's an advanced warning area. There are tapers and tangents to move you over and maintain you in the safe lane. And then there's a taper to allow you to resume your normal traffic pattern. Their instructor, who's a specialist in work zone safety, will describe each of the zones, how they're to be set up, which traffic control devices that are best to be used, and the safe work practices that should be abided by to ensure your safety when you're in the work zone.
Today, folks, we're shooting a video how to set up a lane closure on a multi-lane roadway. This is a divided highway. We have our roadwork ahead. We have our right lane closed. Also duplicated with the right lane closed a little bit further down. On a higher speed roadways, you want to duplicate your roadwork ahead signs. According to the manual, there's tables in there on how far your spacings need to be on your signs. Up in the distance, you can see our right lane closed ahead. Duplicated again, right lane closed ahead. In the far distance, you can see we have our variable message sign that we can actually put out here to give us some extra guidance as well. Everything looks good in this situation right here. We are up on the crest of a hill, so that made our sign spaces a little bit further down from where our actual project is. In a few minutes, we'll set up and we'll move just a little bit further down and look at our tapers. What we have here, guys, kind of a breakdown of our work zone. We have our advanced warning area, and in that advanced warning area, you want to put a general message telling folks, the traveling public that's going through, what's to be expected up ahead. While obviously our roadwork ahead signs are the first thing that they'll see. A lot of days, typically today, folks, there are a lot of distracted drivers out there, and probably the biggest distraction that's known to us today is cell phones. Even though they're not supposed to use them while they're driving, it's a true fact, and they do, folks. Something that we just have to deal with. So we put out all the signs that we can to give them some extra guidance for that. First set of signs they're going to see is your roadwork ahead signs. Hopefully they'll put their phone down, they'll start paying attention and start looking for the signs up ahead. One thing about the fluorescent orange version of these signs, you can actually see the signs well in advance before you can actually read them. But as you're going through the project, you get your next set of signs, says right lane closed ahead. These particular signs have a countdown on them that tells you how far that actually lane closure is up ahead. The next set you're going to go to as you're getting closer. Once again, the reduced footage will be reduced as well. Just a general message, tell folks what are going on. Right lane's going to be closed up ahead. We get a little bit further, we're going to take a look at the taper. Once we get into our taper area, we already told them what we expect them to do. When we get to our taper, it's going to show them exactly what we need them to do. Our variable message sign that we have up ahead, it's a good tool to use. Displays a variety of messages. According to the manual on page 25, there's acceptable abbreviations that you can use for good reason. You can only have 8 characters per line and 3 lines per message, set up in a fashion based upon our speed so they can process that before they see the next message. Things work really well. You can spin this thing around. It'll work ground level. You got to crank it on up to 7 feet. It is not crash worthy. You can see in this video there that they have some barrels actually set around it with some type of delineation for nighttime use as well. A good tool to use. While we're driving through our project here, we have our right lane closed ahead signs. They do have a countdown on this particular one here, which is sometimes it's needed in your nighttime operations. It says roadwork ahead 1 mile. So get a little bit closer to it. We got our rumble strips ahead, something TxDOT started using in 2012. You do have to put advanced warning signs for them. It helps get distracted drivers' attentions as they're coming to your project. Coming up over the crest of the hill, once again, the fluorescent orange version of your signs. You can see them up ahead, way before you can read them. Get a little closer to them. We have another set of right lane closed ahead signs here. It says a half a mile right there where our rumble strips are. You can feel the vibration as we drive across them. Their main intent is to get distracted drivers' attentions. Once again, folks, the number one distraction nowadays is going to be your cell phone. Got our last set of right lane closed ahead, says 1,000 feet with the arrow board. And we get into our taper here. Many different types of tapers. There's 5 different types. This one here is emergent taper. It's the longest out of all of them for good reason. It does the most work. It closes one lane, merges 2 lanes of traffic into one. Based upon your speed and how wide the lane is going to determine how long that taper length needs to be. We've got barrels in our taper length here. Once we get into our tangent area, you can see they got 42-inch grabber cones here, telling folks, hey, this is where we want you to be. And we're working on the opposite side. We've got our crew up ahead with another set of arrow boards. Once again, good set of sign set up. We get to the end of our project and we're coming into our downstream taper here. Downstream taper is a really good tool to use because you're telling folks that you're pretty much done. They can pretty much get back in the lane to travel that they were in and resume their posted speed that they were coming into your project. We got our tangent area we're looking at right here. Once again, based upon our speed, is going to determine our offset in our tangent area and in our taper. In our taper, we can put our device spaces, whether that be cones or barrels or whatever we decide to use. They can be 70 feet apart. 70 feet apart maximum spacing. So once we get into our tangent area, we can space our devices out a little bit further. We can actually go 140 feet. It's twice our posted speed on our device spaces in our tangent area. But you can see in this project, these guys are on the ground, pretty close to traffic. You would definitely want to put your device spaces a little bit closer. I do want to point out in this video right here, and it's a good tool to use. If you don't have a measuring wheel out there, you can use your skip stripes as a guide to put some of your stuff out here. Your skips are 40 feet apart. You notice here they got them about a stripe and a half in between. Add that up 40 feet, so they got their cones here about 60 feet apart, which is a good setup. Once again, the stripes is a good tool to use, setting up your stuff and taking it back down. All right, you can see right here we have a downstream taper. A downstream taper is beneficial to drivers that are coming through. It lets them know that that's the end of your project. They can actually move over and get into the lane that they were in if they choose to do so. Had we not had a downstream taper here, we just entered our tangent area and not put it here. You can see there's a crest of a hill over there. So drivers may have a false sense that that project actually extends past it and may stay in that lane a little bit further than they should be. By putting a downstream taper, gives them that visual cue that this is the end of your project. They can move back over and resume their normal driving activities.
Now this is too large a topic to cover in a video of this length, but if you would like more information or training, the University of Texas at Arlington TxLTAP program would be more than happy to help you. Please feel free to call us at the information provided below on the screen.